Hello.
Hello.
Let me clear my throat. Do you guys remember that song? No, because you were too. You might not even been born yet.
You're not that much older than us.
You act like you're so much older than us.
I am. I'm like a dozen years older than you, I think.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. How old are you guys? 32?
Mm-hmm.
I'm turning 33, so we're closer to 10 than we are 12.
Okay. Well, I turned 44 this in a month.
That's
So
so exciting.
That's right.
It's so exciting. Yeah, Shanna. It's really good girl. Yay.
I used to be so afraid of my 40s, honestly my 30s too, when I was in my 20s. But now that I'm 30, I used to be so afraid of my 40s. And then I see people like you, Polly, all these other women out there, and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to join the 40 club.
Yes.
It's like a VIP
Thank you.
club.
That means so much. Eleanor said to me, Eleanor is my daughter. This is the Miles with Moms podcast. Sorry. She said to me the other day, she's like, Mom, I think you might be having a midlife crisis. I was like, I think I am too. I just don't believe that I'm 44. I'm like, you will see what it's like when all of a sudden you're in your 40s and you were like, how did that happen? I still feel like I'm 28, It's just wild.
I think it's society. Society makes 40s feel like it's so old. And then you're like, I don't feel old. Like, I feel so young still. And like, life is still so fresh ahead of me. And then it's like, so you're like, am I supposed to feel this way? Why do I feel still so young when the world wants me to feel so old? I don't know.
I think that's exactly what it is. Because I'm still like an idiot and I do stupid stuff, and I'm still rapping to songs with my kids in the car and totally immature, even though sometimes I try to be mature and, but I remember when my parents turned 40. I'm like, oh, that's old. You guys are old. Over the hill.
Over the hill.
That's not the hill. The hill is
not the hill. I don't know what the hill. I think the hill's probably like 70 now. Maybe.
The 7-year-olds listening. I'm just don't listen to us.
Pal and I were leaving the mall today, and I got my dad a birthday present. He just turned 79. And he was like, I said to him, I said, Pappy is really impressive. I mean, everything that Pappy does is so impressive. Like, most people who are 79 are just taking up space, waiting to die. Yes. And he's like, Mom, shut up. And I looked up and there was an old man just like staring me down. He was probably in his 70s. And I was like, I am an ageist. I didn't mean it that way, but my dad is super fit. He's super active. He does not at all look like he's 79. So I was, being in awe of my father, but didn't mean to hate on the man in the parking lot. So I'm sorry.
You know what? He might not have even heard you.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I said. I said he probably knew me because he probably started hearing.
Oh, this lady was talking about how much she loves me taking up space.
Yeah. He was maybe just checking you out the whole time.
Yeah, he's probably like, oh, young lady.
It's like she's in my age range. She must be in her 40s, so that's striking distance.
Like maybe she wants a sugar daddy.
That would be
on a shopping spree at Dick's and buy her all the super shoes she wants.
Yeah, there you go. That's the kind of super shoe I want from strangers. Go buy me some new shoes.
For real. I will never, super shoes will always be the most expensive shoe I've ever owned.
They are.
I know. Jason last night, he wanted me to wear fancy shoes and he pointed at my running shoes. And I was like, thank you for thinking those are my fancy shoes.
Because that's all my mom owns. Running shoes.
Yeah. Running shoes.
Yeah.
How awesome would that? You know how people take pictures of themselves wearing their Garmin's dressed up. Like, we should up the ante and start wearing our carbon fiber shoes out.
Yeah,
I know.
Out in the wild. I'm ready for action anytime with my outfit. No way. That was the last episode. Right? And I wasn't ready for action in the last episode.
That was.
Your husband's like, I'm gonna take you up on that.
He was like, oh.
He still doesn't even know what a podcast is, so I'm in the clear.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
He's still like, what's Bookface? Is that the same as MySpace? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I was like, what is Bookface? I don't
What
know.
is Bookface?
It's wild to me how people don't know what podcast or like don't listen to podcasts because I listen to them so much. Like I can't even I don't like it to be quiet even if my kids are like off in their room. I'm like, oh well, I have to have a podcast. I have to be listening to something. And hence the murder. Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh,
that's how you got hooked.
Yeah.
That's how I get through. Like yesterday we got back from our 2-week trip to Charleston and I have to unpack as soon as we get home. I am crazy. Like it is this compulsion that I cannot control. And then as I'm putting the kids' clothes away, I'm like, oh, maybe because it's not folded. It's like it's a complete mess. So then I start folding their clothes and then that's like a gateway to organizing closets. And so, I'm like, oh, I can make this way more enjoyable if I listen to a podcast or a book. I always have to remind myself, like, this is a menial task that I'm just trying to get through, but I can make it enjoyable and educational or entertaining if I listen to a podcast.
Yeah.
Like this podcast we're doing.
Yeah. Couple lessons less.
Yeah. You want to get educated, this is the podcast for you.
And especially get ready for it.
Yep.
You want to feel better about yourself, listen to this podcast.
Yeah. You need a confidence booster? You'll have to listen to this podcast.
Like
figure out, at least I'm not like them. No.
Right. I am way more squared away than these ladies are.
I know.
Wow. Okay, so what are we talking about today?
Today, this is the podcast. This is the podcast. The podcast.
This is the podcast, the only podcast that you need to know.
Yep. Apple has deleted all other ones. It's just the podcast. This is the Miles with Moms podcast. If you don't know that already, it is a pod for moms who run by moms who run. Anyways, today we are talking about our top marathon advice for first timers. So I think just kind of wanted to go over like our biggest advice for first time marathoners and things maybe that really worked for us and things that maybe didn't work for us. And I know we've talked about it a lot in other episodes, like just different bits and pieces of like, oh yeah, when I ran my first one, but just a little bit more of a concise, just a more concise version of that, I guess. So, I
feel like in the past we've talked about like don't eat a burrito the night before.
Always good. Avoid beans before.
Avoid beans. Yes, always a good idea.
That's the episode.
That's all you need to know. Honestly, that is
be concise.
Your secret to success. Don't eat beans. This podcast is not sponsored by beans. Oh, should we tell? Okay, we forgot to say who we are. I'm Whitney.
I'm Olivia.
I'm Shanna.
And Trisha's not here today. She's mid-move. Hopefully she'll be on. Eventually. Her life is crazy busy when she's not running 200 miles in the mountains. She's working and moving and being a mom and all that stuff. So saving lives. No. People's quality of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's actually very true. I do want to put her in the hot seat. I want to talk. I like at some point, because I do feel like a lot of moms, I'm just seeing it a lot more, are branching into the ultra world. And so I'd love for her insight on it. I just, because I'm so curious about the time commitment to running ultras, but I also see like that it's, as much as it's like so much longer, it can often be a lot less impact, and so I'm very curious about that side of it because I don't know much about it. I've listened to some audiobooks, things like that, but I have no idea about ultra running anything.
Can I just say that my husband is running his 100K.
Yes.
out in Utah in a couple weeks. And I found out last night that his friend, who was a Navy SEAL, was supposed to come out and pace him, like, you know, for the nighttime miles, and he's not going to be there. So he's not going to have anybody with him, which makes me very nervous. He's done it before, but I don't know. I'm like, especially talking to Trisha a couple episodes ago, and she's talking about seeing a bobcat and people hallucinating. And I know that's 200 miles versus 62, but still, you know, it's a little like weather happens, you know, there are pop-up storms when you're on a mountaintop. You don't
100%. Yeah.
You don't quite know how your body's going to respond. He's technically not supposed to be a runner because he has grade 4 arthritis in his knee. So, which is why he doesn't really train, because he can't really run because it hurts.
Oh my gosh. That's so stressful.
I know.
Do you think he'll be able to find someone else? Is he searching for someone, or?
So he's running it with 2 of his college soccer friends, and one of them will probably win it. And then his other friend, they ran together a couple times when we were in Charleston, and I'm like, please stay with Ben, please, please, please. But Ben wants to run a fast time, and I'm not sure how, like, Jake is incredibly mentally tough. So it's possible, you know, he might be able to, because it is different than running, because it's like a huge climb, you know, like it's like it's fast hiking for a lot of it, basically. I'm like, maybe he'll be able to stay with him. I don't know.
I know.
So I'm like, just make sure you stay with somebody, find somebody and stay with them when it's nightfall, because that would just
well, because the night just would be very long. That's what I would think about, like how long you're out there for.
Yes. You don't know where you're going. I mean, I paced him one time, like in Leadville or something, and I got lost, and I was fresh, and he was like 60 miles.
Oh my!
And I fell too. Like, he's going down the mountain like a mountain goat, and I slipped. Now, granted, I was in, you know, regular shoes, but still. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, ultra training is so different. I would love to know more about it too. I have no interest in doing it anytime soon. But
yeah, it honestly, like, it's so funny for me. It depends on the person I'm talking to. It really does. And on the day, some days I'm like, that looks so fun. And then some days I'm like, that just doesn't seem like a very good time to me. But I guess like nighttime, like you're talking about nighttime, I'm like, I like daytime things. So that would be really fun. Because me at night, not my best self. And yeah. So
unless you're enjoying Matt's body. I'm sorry. Again, that was the last episode.
Once I'm enjoying Matt's body,
look, he better appreciate that, okay?
Yeah, he better. Seriously.
Anytime you guys get into a fight, you can just play the audio from that portion and be like, fight's over.
Yeah. I put it out there.
Yeah, I put it out
there. Podcast, okay? That I enjoy your body at night. You're gonna be like, you're so weird. Why do you have to say things like that? Oh my God.
Love that you say things like that. Please keep doing it.
Technically, you said it.
Which makes it even weirder, actually. Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are happy to say that this podcast has 2 sponsors. So, yeah.
Yeah. Cure Hydration is our first sponsor of this podcast. So what is Cure? Cure is a clean, plant-based electrolyte drink mix formulated with pediatricians and made just for kids. It's pretty awesome. No added sugar, no artificial sweeteners, no fake colors, just real hydration for your kids that they will love. So super cool. You guys need to go check it out. curehydrations.com. We have a code. It's MILESWITHMOMS, and that will get you 15% off. So go take a try at it. Go check out their website. But yeah, I want to go check it out. I have not tried Cure Hydration, so I'm kind of curious about it. So
yeah, it comes at a perfect time because my kids are doing soccer camp when it's like 100 and something degrees outside. And we are a big Gatorade family, but I know, you know, it's just
doesn't have everything.
Well, and it's sugar and it's dyes, and I have been looking for an alternative. So we are getting our samples in, I think, this week, and I'm so excited. Their website looks so fun, and the flavors look so delicious. And I love the concept of it, because it is hard to find a good, because we will do liquid IV, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't love it. Or you have to like get the amount right. Like if you put a whole packet in and it's not enough water, and then it's like overpowering.
Yeah. My kids will just sip on, because I live on electrolytes during the summertime, so I'll put it into my waters, and they're always like, is this water or is this electrolytes? Like they know it and they'll taste it. But I always wondered like if like everything that I'm putting into that, if that's what they need too. Mm-hmm. So I love that it's formulated by pediatricians, because that makes me a little bit more like, okay, like what is in it that's different, like level wise for children, you know?
Oh, that's such a good point. Because you don't want them having gobs of sodium. Like they have little bodies.
Yeah, like there's actually like effects to having too much sodium, which I never think about because I don't get enough sodium. So
but they are not running like,
they're not
10 to 20 miles a day. So it's a little bit different. We are also sponsored by Relay Active, which is a clothing brand. And if anybody looks at my Instagram, it's all I wear. I'm obsessed with her clothes. It's so funny because when we got back from our trip yesterday, I had a package from Anne, just, because she sent us all something to try. And because I have everything, she sent me something that I don't know, that I don't have. Anyways, I have everything but this one thing. And Jake picked up the package and he was like, what is it, Whitney? Like, do these go bad? Why do you have more Relay Active than anybody in this world? And I was like, I know. I just love it. They're her clothes
run fast.
Yes. They're comfortable. They are cute. She's got different patterns and different colors. I have like 4 of her tie-dye matching sets. They're reasonably priced. They have great pockets. I love it. I love it. So anyways, you guys can try, and I have people ask me all the time, like, where did you get that cute set?
So cute.
Anyways, you guys can go to relayactive.com, put in Miles with Moms to get 15% off. So thank you to Cure and Relay Active for sponsoring this episode. All right. So are we ready to get into our marathon advice for the first timers?
Yes.
Yes. Olivia's like, yes. I feel like you have something that you want to say.
Oh, me? Don't do it. No.
Don't eat an Uncrustable like she's going to tell you. Just kidding.
What that was good? That would be great.
Was it your first marathon, or is that a different one?
That was a different one, but I used to use them on all my training runs, and it's just so funny to think about, just out there running, just eating a sandwich. But they're great because you don't have to like chew them a ton. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Anyway, all right. I used to love them. I still do. Who doesn't?
Well, yeah. I mean, a sandwich. I just love sandwiches. I'm just obsessed with sandwiches. So combining sandwiches with running. Throw in a couple of golden retrievers and Justin Bieber, and I'm like on cloud 9.
He is in heaven.
So funny.
I just can't,
every episode. Bieber.
I got not anymore though, guys. My heart goes out to him, but he's just like smoking blunts all the time, then
yeah.
I think he's been through a lot. Yeah, I think he's a lot of past that we don't know about.
Yeah. Let's talk about him instead for the next 45 minutes. Just no. All right. How about we start with like something that we wish we knew our very first marathon. I'll start. I'll kick it off. So I ran my first marathon back in 2003. When I was a senior in college. No joke. How old were you guys?
10.
I think I was, I was 10. She was 10. I was 10.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
How are we? We're not that far apart in age, but why does that feel like we're so far
It's
apart?
Like you were younger than Eleanor.
That is wild. After
It is
high school,
wild.
age differences, no. After 25, age differences aren't that crazy. Before 25, age differences are wild. I mean, I remember being pregnant and I was, I think, 25, maybe 26, and my friend had turned 32, and I was like,
They're
I
old.
cannot imagine being 32. And here I am, 32. So it's like, it's funny when you say like you were in college and we're 10. It's like, it does seem like, because we were still little kids, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was
Anyway.
I was getting ready for the real world and you
Yeah.
know, the hard knock life. Anyways,
Yeah. And we were
so I
coming
was a senior in college and I ran the Marine Corps Marathon because that was the one my dad did when I was growing up. And that back in the olden days, we didn't really know much about like fueling. We didn't have the fancy shoes. We didn't have the sweat wicking. Maybe we had sweat wicking.
You
Like,
were the raw dog athletes era.
yeah, for real.
Raw dog 2 miles.
All of the courses were uphill, in the snow.
Runners, but not to the downhill. No, just kidding.
Right. Anyways, so I didn't know anything about fueling. And so I had I think I had like one or two goos. But I didn't know that like some of them you can't take with an electrolyte drink. Like it'll just turn to sludge in your stomach. And so I remember I don't even remember what it was, like a power gel or something. And I drank it with a Powerade, I think. And it just like, and I think I took my first gel, like around the time that I hit the wall. You know, it was like somewhere between miles 16, 20. Cause I didn't know that like you're supposed to consistently take it. I didn't know you're supposed to train with it, to train your gut so your stomach gets used to digesting nutrition while your whole body is working hard and the blood is going to your extremities and whatever. Instead of your stomach. So it needs to learn how to digest. And so I took it in the later stages. So that's number one. Don't wait until the later stages. Like there's research that shows the sooner you start fueling, the better. Like a lot of people will take a gel, you know, like 20, 30 minutes before they actually start racing. And then just make sure you read the contents of the gels that you were using to make sure, because some of them are hydrogels and you don't have to take them with water. Some of them you do have to take with water. Some of them you don't want to mix with an electrolyte drink because it's just going to be way too much on your stomach and your stomach's going to just be like, I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to turn this into poop. And immediately, or juicy. Still, I'm just gonna go.
It's like it needs to be said straight because that's how they work. Some gels will make you literally vomit. Like I took the Martin gel on my 2024 builds for grandmas, and I threw up on mile 18, a mile 20 miles. Because I took that what is that mix, the bicarbonate.
Yeah.
I took it the night before because everybody swore by it. They're like, oh, this stuff has so many carbs, you need to take this. So my stomach was so packed with so many carbs, it literally didn't know what to do because I was like also like taking gels like crazy. I barfed it all out at mile 18. I never touched a Martin gel since because I'm like scarred from that run. I'm like
oh my gosh, I don't blame you. Yeah. And like it is possible that you could tolerate that many carbs, but it can't be a one-off. Like you have to work up to it.
Yeah.
Like if you aren't used to fueling and you know are just starting to introduce gels into your training run, like start gradually. Start every 45 minutes. If you're taking one that you're supposed to take every 30 minutes or something, like I know we've talked about they say you can take it 75 minutes. Shanna, you think you should fuel more frequently than that, but like start at 45 and then kind of cut down like every 5 or 10 minutes and just each run, just try to inch it just a little bit so that your body knows what to do with it while you're running.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Oh, you're muted. There you go. Hello.
Hi, I'm back.
Hi.
No, I've been sitting here this whole talking that whole time. I feel like, okay, I'm seeing a lot about people using fruit snacks, Trader Joe's Swedish fish version, whatever. And
We're about to
I'm
go
going there. Here's my thing about it. And this is because if I would have seen this back in the day, because I used to use fruit snacks a lot. And I still do. I still do all the time. The important thing about if you're going to do that, and the nerd clusters, they're awesome. I totally get it. I've used them. Make sure that you have an electrolyte that is going with it, or that you can make sure you can run at the same time and chew and things like that. Like, there are a lot of little things about it that you're like, oh, this seems like a great idea. And then you're not prepared for, you're still going to feel like absolute shit during a run and a training run, because you don't have the proper electrolytes that are balancing it out. That's the one thing with gels, because if you would have told 26-year-old Olivia, 25-year-old Olivia, she can just eat candy, like, I'd be like, oh, well, sign me up, send me to Willy Wonka's right now. And I would have always felt like I would have been out there eating Snickers. You could have not gotten me on a freaking gummy cluster, but I would have been like, this is my protein bar. Actually,
They
that's
do
still
have protein bars, Snicker flavor.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. See, I get those two confused.
Wait, they do?
They actually do. Yeah. There's like,
yeah, but there's
some
that have like Reese's flavored, Snicker flavored. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Built bar Oreo ones. They were, it might be Built actually, because they partnered.
Oh, we have become obsessed with Built, the Cliff Bars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sure they're not great for you, but we love them. They are so yummy.
It's so I just noticed with like the candy and stuff, and it's so much of it comes from me doing this, especially with fruit snacks, because like my kids eat 1,000 fruit snacks a day, so I can jam those into every pocket. And there are a lot of times where I will still not feel fantastic, because also they are not enough carbs. They are not, you would have to eat a ton of fruit snacks to get the amount of carbs that you're getting in this very small gel packet. And that's why, like, I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. And I think it's super fun. And if you're going out for a 10 miler and it's whatever versus a 20 miler, go for it. Like, take the gummy clusters. I'm all about that. It's just, I think, being smart about how you're balancing those out, because I see it and I'm like, but do you have like a handheld? Because I don't carry a handheld. Like, I'll talk about it every week, and like, it's Thursday right now and I still haven't bought a handheld. So on Saturday I'll be like, oh my gosh, I should order one of those, but I am not carrying one of those. So I'm not getting electrolytes from any kind of drink. I'm just getting plain water. So, and then when you're on the course, you're going to want to have trained your stomach on some kind of electrolyte anyway, because if you grab a cup and you're like, not thinking, oh, is this water, is this Gatorade, or you miss the water cups and all that's left is Gatorade, Powerade, and you want to wet your palate, you don't want it to be a shock to your system that you're suddenly getting this electrolyte now. And I think so much of that just comes from experience, because I didn't ever, like, my first marathon, I didn't take any gels. I don't think, maybe I took one, but I got plenty of calories. I was out there eating. I was having Cliff Bars, all this stuff, but it's not electrolytes. It's not the stuff that's like replenishing your actual how your body is functioning. That's what electrolytes are. If you look at like how a heart functions, it's all electrolytes. That's what makes your body function. And
that's how your muscles are firing. And
yes. So you could have enough, you could eat 1,000 calories of nerd clusters, fruit snacks, Swedish fish, whatever fucking fish thing people are eating. I don't know. Swedish fish, I don't know. Anyway, I said that already. Like, you could still cramp really badly and be like, oh, I ate 1,000 calories of this. It's like, it's not enough. It's not the right kind. And that's the only thing to be conscious of, because I know a lot of people like to eat their candy on their long runs, and I get you. I do. just being smart about it.
Yeah, you want to aim for like at least 60 grams of carbs, unless it's a UCAN. That's different because it's like starchy carbs. And then like at least 400 milligrams of sodium. And then like you still need magnesium and the other types of electrolytes. And then it may be more, like if you're a heavy sweater or if it's hot or whatever. And it is like, yeah, maybe you can have your candy runs if you really want your candy runs, but you definitely need to practice it on your long runs. Olivia, I know you said one of your top advice too is like to treat your long runs like how you would treat your marathon. I mean, not everyone, but at least like a couple, like 2 or 3 as you're getting closer to the big day. Like it is a dress rehearsal. Wear what you're going to wear, fuel with what you're going to fuel with. Make sure that your shoes are comfortable. Don't break out like a new pair of shoes for race day. And like even think about what you're going to eat the night before and for breakfast, and try not to stop a lot if you're going to be racing the marathon. Like I stop on my long runs. I don't care about the elapsed time or whatever. Like I don't know. It doesn't, like, I stop to go to the bathroom. I'll stop to like adjust my shoes if I need to. Like that kind of stuff doesn't stress me out because I know that I can run the distance. But if you think it's going to mess with your head and on race day, you're like, oh, I'm so used to stopping, I want to stop, then start training your brain now to not stop on your long runs. And then research the course too, as far as like what they're going to be offering. Like research the course in general so that you're not surprised, but also like if they're serving noon or if they're serving Gatorade or whatever it is, like and you plan to get your hydration from the course, then you want to make sure you're starting to practice with that too.
Yeah. I'm really big on, it really depends on the day. Mostly like last week we stopped a few times on our run and my legs kept locking up. Like I wasn't feeling my best and my legs were like locking up big time. And so I was like, I don't want to stop anymore. I can't. And like I think my knees are going to snap. I was like convinced that my legs were not functioning. And so, it was so silly because it's like, it doesn't actually matter. It's just time on feet. For those like big long runs, I don't even want to pee on them. I'm like, I want to know why I had to pee, like what happened that my bladder, like I couldn't make it that whole time. Like I have to have everything kind of lined up. For me, even paces, like I'm really good with like up to a 20-second variability on them. I can't get super caught up in that kind of thing. But for me, the time on feet and the actual motions of like what the race would look like, it's because it's the only time that I feel like I plan ahead that things can actually go smoothly. It's like, okay, the kids are cared for. I don't have to rush to be back for anything and things like that. Cause that's where I like get really, caught up in things. So for me, like I would say like, if I have 18, 19, and 20 milers, those are like my 3 times to practice and really identify and hone in on like, okay, where can I make the adjustments? And, the thing too that I think back about a lot is like I used to be out there on the course for over 4 hours at a time. Like fueling then looked so different than fueling now. And like if you have to stop to go to the bathroom, like 30 seconds on that time, it wouldn't have mattered to me at all. And it would have been much better to just be comfortable versus like, I have this memory of my first marathon where I was like, I had to pee so bad. And it's like, why didn't I just go? My legs wouldn't have locked up any differently than they did when I was stopping to open up a bar and throw it away in the trash and stuff like that, And so just taking those things into consideration, that like what is going to actually make you comfortable out there, as comfortable as you can be while running your first marathon.
Yeah. But I think also making sure you know how to open things when you're running too. Like if you care about the time as well, like making sure like the Martin ones, I had a hard time opening while I was running. So I ended up like, I ran a marathon with him and I ended up like cutting slits. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I got like.
No, they're hard to open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not just me.
No, their packaging is like weird.
Yeah. I don't know if I was tearing it at the wrong angle.
UCAN is very easy to take off.
Yeah. Yeah. And making sure like it goes down smooth, and like some people want it to be thicker. Other people want it to be like more of a watery, you drink it consistency. I'm curious, Jana, because you came from a track background, like your first marathon, I imagine you had a lot of like ahas or, things you would have that you did change for your next one.
Yeah, I like echo everything like pretty much Olivia said. Like I think the candy stuff is great. I feel like with my like winter marathons, because I've done CIM twice, so those are both winter marathons, and like I would take the Halloween candy and I would shove it in my pockets and I would totally mix it up, because like 18 to 20 miles when you're doing it constantly, like it is so refreshing to have something you can eat versus like something you're just like trying to gag down. Sorry. Only word that is coming to my brain right now, but
I mean, it's accurate.
no, but it feels like that. And I mean, it looks like it too. So anyways, besides the point. I think for me, like, so I did end up in the med tent after my first marathon. I was very sodium deficient, is what they told me. My lips were purple. I was going in and out of coherency the last like 18 to 26 miles. Like, I literally remember like going out of like response of like, oh my gosh, I'm running a race right now. And then I would like blank out. And then I would be like, I'm running a race right now. And then I'd blank out. And I think that was just because I was very dehydrated. And also I just took out too hard. So I think I just blew through a lot of fuel too quick. But I'm very conscientious. Like when I take a brand of whatever I'm taking, I make sure that it has everything I need in it. And I think it's so important. Like candy does not have that for you. Like it's not perfectly proportioned to tell you exactly what you're taking with sodium, potassium, if your gels even have that. Like it's so important to look into that. How many carbs are you taking? And also how many calories you're intaking. Like people don't ever talk about the calorie intake of the gels. And I think those things are very, very important. Like having tried so many different gels and like experimented and had the bad reaction of one and versus another. I think, yeah, like the candy stuff, like it's great. It's a great filler, but I do not think it should be your sole way of fueling. And I think you can put a couple in there in between, but you should have your gels mapped out as if you're fueling solely off your gels and then the candy's just to help mix it up, because it's not proportioned out. And that's why these gels are so important. Like, I don't know. I will die on that grave too. Like I'm not trying to sell the gel brand. I don't get any kickback or anything, but I just feel like if whatever gel you are going to fuel with, make sure you talk to a registered dietitian or make sure you research with the information that's out there right now, because there is a lot of information out there now, unlike 2003, like you were talking about, Whitney. And make sure you're getting exactly what your body needs, not the pro athletes. Like that's my biggest concern. I'm so frustrated that so many of us, there's more amateur runners out there like us who are not pro runners. We're not finishing in 2 hours and 20 minutes. And so our fueling should not look like theirs. We should not be taking 3 to 4 gels. We should be taking way more gels than that.
Yeah.
And I think especially if you're going 4 hours and above in your marathon, your fueling will look even more different than somebody that's a sub 3 hour marathon. And you need to make sure that you're getting enough for that. Like, I don't know. Eating is good. Fueling is good. It's the difference of not only how you feel after your race, but it's the difference of how you're going to feel during and your memories with it. Like, I can't tell you, CIM will forever like sit in my brain because of that first experience that I had. That was my first marathon. It was my first exposure to 26.2 miles. And I still will not forget what that felt like, that 18 miles on. Like it was rough. It was rough.
It's so true. Yeah, it shapes your memory with it.
Yeah. And it's amazing you came back. Like you could have been like, memorable, never again. And for the training runs too, like that's a great point. Like you will feel so much better if you practice your fueling on your training runs. Like I kind of feel like I was a first time marathoner twice because I ran. Now we're thinking about like the born again version, but I was born again marathoner because I didn't run my first marathon again. Like I took a long break after having kids and career and all that stuff. And like when I would do my long runs, like I did not fuel. I didn't think I needed to fuel. And I was a disaster after. Like I was so tired and I just wanted to lay on the couch. But you can't do that when you're a mom. And like I was not recovering well. And I would say like that's the biggest difference now is like I fuel for any run that's over 75 minutes and I feel so much better. Like I have that energy for the rest of the day. I don't feel like I'm riding the red line. Marathon training does not feel like a grind. Like you will recover and come back stronger and be able to, and it helps with injury prevention. And so if you have any issues with fueling, like you just need to remind yourself of how much better and how you will feel and how much better training you can get in if you continue to fuel your body.
It's so true. I think race day and actually all of your big training runs are definitely not the time to like burn like, oh, I want to burn all these calories, like I'm gonna burn all this stuff. Like race day is just not the day for that. Honestly, race days are some of the most bloated, ickiest I've ever looked and felt. And you know, it's really not about looking a certain way, and like you have to really let go of that, the idea that it's for like that you should be suffering in any way. Hold on, honey. Hold on. You shouldn't have to suffer, and you should not
Charlotte
have
disagrees.
Yeah, she's like, Mama, you're lying. Oh, you broke it, honey. I think that sorry, the idea of that marathon should be a grind too. I remember a lot of people when I was telling them I was running a marathon, they would be like, well, can you even listen to music during the marathon? And I'd be like, I'm training for like a 4 hour and 30-minute marathon. Like, yeah, they're not gonna take my headphones away from me. You know what I mean? And like it should not, you don't have to go out there and listen to the sounds of your feet for 3 hours for 20 miles. Like it shouldn't be a grind, you know? And
do what you want to enjoy it.
Like
what about the long runs are tough for a lot of people who have not covered that distance. Like a lot of people, I think they just have that mental block of like, oh my gosh, I cannot, like, I don't even drive that far. How in the world can I run that far? What advice do you have for anybody who might be just completely daunted by the distance?
I would say just slowly build up. Like you don't, I think a lot of people think like, oh, I have to run a marathon in 3 months. Like, why does it have to be so immediate? Like, why can't it not be a 6-month goal? Like, why can't you have little goals that lead up to that marathon, like halfway through the year? Like, for me, like I spent 6 months building for my first marathon. That may sound insane to other people, and even having a lifelong history of running, like, it wasn't like I was foreign to running 65 miles a week. I just have never ran 2+ hours at one go because I was more of a track-based runner. And so it's just, it was a mental like block for me. Like I can't tell you how many times I told my coach, I'm like, 26.2 miles is so far. Like
so far.
It was terrifying to me. It literally, I'm not even over exaggerating. I would tell him so many times, I'm gonna die. And he's like, you're not gonna die. I was like, no, I literally don't know how it's physically possible for me to run 26.2 miles, let alone at a goal pace. And, you know, he just slowly built me up to put time. And it wasn't even like the mileage. Like he just built me up time on my feet. He said, you know, 1 hour, 30 minutes. 90 minutes felt very far for me at first. And then he did 1 hour, 45 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, my legs feel like they're going to pop out of my hips. And then he got me to 2 hours, and then 2 hours 15, 2 hour 20, 2 hour 25. And then all of a sudden I was at 2 hours or 45 minutes. And this is over a couple months that I would get to that point. And then I went into marathon specific training for 3 months. It was the best, most like prepared I felt for 26.2 miles that I honestly feel like I could have ever felt. And I think like just people realizing like putting time on your feet and slowly building for it to build your confidence that you can do it is like, it'll pay you back dividends than trying to like get this goal done and over with quicker rather than like, hey, 6 months from now, I'm going to slowly build up my mileage for the first 3 months, put the base in, and then roll into marathon training. Like everything doesn't have to be a hustle to how quickly can we go and run a marathon, like, and check it off our box. Like, I don't know. I know you have some, like, you have the same similar feelings, Olivia, like on that too. Yeah.
I do. I wish for me, like, I wish I would have known more about how to build up, I guess. My longest run before my first marathon, I think, was 14 miles. And that's just simply not enough. And there's people who will tell you, like, oh, I'm going to jump into this marathon and, my longest run was 16 miles, and it's like, well, that's great that works for you if that's how you want to perform, but I do, like, you shouldn't, it goes to the point of, like, you shouldn't feel like garbage on your marathon. Like, it shouldn't feel that new. It should just be like, it's adding on at a higher level than what you did during your long runs. Like, oh, this is the farthest I've ever gone, but it's not the most unique feeling because you should have experienced some of it. You should be able to build up to it, and just really carving out the time. What am I doing here? Just carving out the time to.
She's assembling a toy while she's talking.
I'm trying to.
If you're not watching this on YouTube, that's what's happening. I think building it up like time-based is such a genius way to do it if you are daunted by the distance. It kind of depends on the runner. Like, some runners, they need to know that they can actually cover the distance before, they go for it. And as far as like how long the long run should be, you're right. Like, ideally you want to cross over that 20 or get to 20 multiple times in your build. I've coached people who, they were, for different reasons, they just couldn't get that much training in, but I had one in particular, I mean, that comes to mind, where she was serving overseas. She was in Afghanistan, and she had a lot of things come up, and her longest run was 14 miles. And she was like, will I be able to do it? And sure enough, she could. Like, you can cover the distance if that's what your goal is. But if you want to cover the distance in a certain amount of time, you need to have several 18 plus long runs in your build, so that your body gets that fatigue resistance and knows how to digest fuel and work hard for that long.
Mm-hmm. For me, a big thing was either being on my feet for 3 hours or 20 miles, whichever came first, I guess. Which is crazy. Like, cause you're like, wow, 3 hours out of my day spent running.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's wild. Like, it's so crazy to think back now, because
it's crazy to think about. Like, that's a long time.
It's such a long time. Like, if I think about it now, like, would I even, like, if I was to be like, Matt, I need 3 hours, like, I'd have to go so early. Just 1 second, sweetheart. I feel like with that, it pays you back so much, because even the way the bottoms of your feet feel in your shoes is like, it's something that you'll experience. You're like, oh, do I need different socks? Like, do I, is this the right shoe for me? Like, you learn so many things, because once you pass over that 2.5 hour threshold, essentially, like, you start to learn so much about, like, the mental strength that you're actually going to need. Like, okay, I'm going to hit this 3 hour or, 20 mile mark. And, I think that was like the part that nobody could have prepared me for, is like all these little tiny things, because 14 miles for me didn't take 3 hours. And so once I hit that 3 hour mark in my actual race, I was like, oh, wow, I wish I would have experienced this, because I've never felt like this before. And, even when I ran, I don't know, it was like one of my first postpartum races. 1 second, honey. When I ran one of my first ones that I was like racing, even during the race, I was like, I need more time on my feet. I can feel it. I know it. I just know that even if it was like one more 20 miler, I was like, I just need a little bit more time. And because that time it'll reveal itself so much, like so much of the things that you can still adjust so that you can have a successful marathon, so that you can really enjoy the process. I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's such a great point. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there are extenuating circumstances, but why?
Yes.
That was a tough phrase to say, guys. A
Yeah.
lot of syllables. But like, what? Like, we always get in like such a rush. Like, we want to do this marathon right now, and it's like if you don't have 4 to 6 months, like if you don't have a good base and you're not giving yourself 4 to 6 months to build, like you really are selling yourself short. It will not be
Yes.
as enjoyable. You're going to have niggles come up, like,
Yeah.
and you're right. Like working through the just like, not even like the physical, but the mental fortitude it takes and knowing like, okay, I need to make sure I have my mantras ready. I need to make sure I'm reconnecting to my why. When I hit the wall, do I want to zone out or do I want to have some things that I'm going to think about? Or like, what's my process going to be? Am I going to be like, okay, my hamstrings are killing me, but my arms feel really good? Or, like just kind of practicing your mental game too is such a good point.
I
Yeah.
wish I also wish more. Sorry, my kids are they're playing a game of like pushing my door open and then running away, and it's like this is funny. But I really wish people also too would talk about the fact that like so going from mild training to marathon training, it is two polar opposite types of training. Like you do a lot of high intensity, shorter workouts, and then marathon training, you're teaching your body to run a lot on fatigued legs.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're shifting back into, and it's your first marathon build, you're going to constantly ask yourself, I mean, this is my fourth, and I ask myself this often, why am I so tired? You should feel that way. Like, because that is the marathon grind. You're never going to put in 26.2 miles. And so you want to make sure that you are feeling the fatigue throughout your week so that you can run through that on your race day when you are doing 26.2 miles. That's why your workouts are structured the way they are when they are in your week build. That's why your long run is usually at the end of your week, typically, if you can do it that way with your schedule, because you're running on fatigue of the last remaining 50 or whatever, how many miles you put in that week, right? And you should feel fatigue, like, because you want your body to know how to handle that and work through that and almost adapt to that. And so I think like just reminding people that are running their marathon for the first time or training for a marathon for the first time, it is very normal to feel tired. Obviously there's a fine line because I think there's a lot of people that overtrain, and I've seen that in people around me that have been overshot in their workouts and they're like very fatigued and they can't hit paces. Like that's another story. You should be able to hit your efforts or your paces in your workouts. And if you're not, then I would consider maybe an extra rest day that week just to kind of get your body back on track. But at the end of the day, like fatigue is very normal. And I hope people understand that like it is okay to feel tired. Like that's not a bad thing,
Yeah, you're right. It is a fine line. Like you should feel tired at times, but not totally exhausted. Like for me, I think I definitely overtrained but I was always able to hit my paces. So I was like, oh, I'm fine, but like I was for the rest of my life, like if you were finding yourself not being energetic with your kids most of the time, someday, some day, not even every once in a while, but maybe like a day a week or something like that. Like, yes, that's normal, especially as you get into the meat of your cycle and definitely during peak week, like expect like some niggles to pop up around that time too. And just be proactive about them. Don't ignore them, but don't freak out either, because that is very normal to start having some discomfort, some little spots that are achy towards the end of the cycle. And I would say towards the beginning as well, like as your body's kind of adjusting to the new training stimulus. But if you are feeling like so drained or feeling unmotivated, dreading your workouts, that sort of thing, then that means that you are doing too much. And just remember too that like every cycle is different. Like you don't have to continue to you could have a lot going on in your life at that time. And so stress is stress. And so maybe, you ran 50 miles a week your last marathon, but that your body just has too much going on right now. And 40 is your sweet spot. And like, and I'm learning, like less is more. More is not necessarily better. Like some people they have big gains with like quality, not quantity, and you don't need all those miles. Like, so don't play the comparison game either, because everybody's training is going to be different.
I think if you take the time to really build that foundation, to just taking the time, like if you're like, oh, I want to, do an 18-week training block, even getting in the groove of running like, 2 to 3 times a week before you decide to do that 18-week training block, it will be so much more manageable because it won't be completely new stimulus. And that is super, super important. Plus, I really think that extra time that you take in the beginning, it pays you back in the end, because the one thing with new marathoners that can be really hard is the taper. And say you're in a 2-week taper, like you're like, well, I had 16 weeks where I was working so hard, but if you front loaded that with a good foundation, it's like, okay, well, I have all this time that I was working towards this goal. It wasn't just the 18 weeks. It wasn't just the 16, 12, whatever it was. You can take that time to truly taper, because that is not the time that you want to be proving anything. And I, for the longest time, always felt like I had something still to prove in the taper versus just being like, okay, let me just sit back and, enjoy the down week essentially, and all the other things that are going to fall into place. And that's because for us, I feel like we don't do a very long taper, maybe like 10 days. And it's hard. It's always hard. Like no matter which way you slice it, because you did all this work for so many weeks and this is what your schedule looked like. And I just feel like if you had enough time to at least mentally prepare for that versus choosing a marathon that's 3 months out, and then you essentially only have 10 weeks of training, you didn't really front load it with any base and no foundation. So that part is really important, is just taking your time with it.
Yeah, you're not going to gain any fitness in the taper, and you really wouldn't lose anything either. You just need to, you're maintaining and keeping your body sharp. Also, don't forget to carb load.
Yes.
So research your carb loading. We're not going to get into that. That's a whole episode in of itself. But we should talk about that.
We should get a nutritionist on and talk about it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always like to tell my athletes to review their training, like during the taper, to remind them that they have put so much hay in the barn when they start to go a little crazy.
Yeah. That's probably one of the hardest parts of training too, is like you just sometimes feel like you just got in the routine. You're doing all these insane workouts. They're 20 milers. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, stop what you're doing. You shouldn't do it anymore. You're going to go run this really long distance, but for the week before, don't do that. It's just that it's very hard to wrap your mind around the science of it, but like it's there, it's proven. And I think especially for first time marathoners, it's like very hard to truly trust that part of the process, because I'm about to do my 10th marathon and it's still hard for me to find around that process. I'm like, okay, October something, you are going to taper, and that you will have to be okay with it, just because for so long we are in these like long training cycles. But I think also picking a race that you are genuinely excited for, that like people have reviewed and said are great courses and great course support, and planning ahead, and if you can travel to the race or whatever your circumstances are, that it's a really enjoyable experience, and that you set yourself up for success so much that's truly catered to you and not to anybody else. And like even if you're like, oh, I want to do this with my friend, that you're focusing on like the feeling that works for you specifically, and not like, oh, I was doing this with my friend and this worked for her, so I tried it and then it didn't work out. Because I feel like that's something that would be very easy to get caught up in. And like it would be so fun to run with a friend, but make sure that if you are, that you're focused on your personal journey through those 26 miles, and like whatever that looks like, that it's okay to just even be a little bit selfish with your decisions. Like I'm going to run the way that I need to run today to have the best outcome, because like once you've bonked, you know that you don't ever want to do it again. So like to put am I back? Was I out? just so that it's like the most enjoyable experience. Because sorry if the audio glitched. I'll just address it. If the audio glitched for a second, that once you've bonked, you don't want to experience that feeling again. You will know. And you don't want to do that during your first marathon because it might deter you from ever wanting to try again. And that it's not just 13.1 miles double. Like it is so much more than that. And it is such a special experience, and I think that's why we all keep coming back to it. And yeah, it just shows you a very different side of you. And if you set yourself up for success, I think you'll be able to reap the benefits of it so much more than, like if I bonk, because that feeling, like I know I still see 16 miles and I'm like, I don't want to bonk. Don't want it to happen. Like it's just such a visceral thing that happens still.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This is your time to be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like do what you want to do.
The distance is such a commitment. The training is such a commitment. Like, why not set yourself up for the best success of an experience as possible, right? Like, I think that's why, because we have so many people normalizing 26.2 miles. Like, I'm going to go run it next weekend and I'm going to go run it in 2 weeks again. And it's like, I'm telling you from an amateur perspective, you guys, somebody that takes 2 weeks off after every marathon and only runs 1 to 2 a year max. Like it is a distance that needs to be respected. And I'm not talking about time wise. I'm not saying like if you run an 8, 9, 10, 11 hour marathon that you can't do it, but that you deserve to roll into that with respect for the distance because it is a big toll on your body scientifically.
Yeah.
Internally, like we don't see it. We don't see the wounds that it does to our body after you cross the finish line, but it is real. And any expert in the science field will tell you that you not only need the recovery of 10 plus days, but that it really does put a toll on your body. And it's not a joke. Like,
no, I mean, it damages your organs. Like,
yeah, like,
but yet we like to do it.
Yeah, I know we're crazy, but it's such a big distance, and I feel like the world has like the social media has like kind of taken away the like, wow, it's 26.2 miles away from it, and I just want to remind people like it is still a big deal how far that is, and I just hope that everybody gives themselves a fair chance at that distance.
That's such a great point. So. Yeah, such a great point. Okay, well, I think we did a good job covering this. I think we could talk about it a lot more, so maybe we'll...
And if there are any questions, obviously just feel free to DM us. We have so much experience between the three of us, and even Trisha, she has run a boatload.
She's run like a dozen.
Yeah, so
I think.
Yeah, just because she's not on the episode doesn't mean that she... And Shanna, you have more than just Poquito. I saw your little...
I'm still a baby, but it's okay.
I mean... But you have experience with I think also knowing the highs and lows that marathons can bring you, it gives you the depth to be able to talk about it, because it's not like, oh, Shanna's so fast and doesn't know what this is like. It's like, it's the same thing. Bonking is the same whether you at mile 18, whether you are running 6-minute pace or 12-minute pace, it's the same and it sucks either way. And so basically to avoid that is like one of the biggest goals, right? To get to that finish line. So,
yeah. I'd say my goal, I think Chicago might be my 10th too. And I think that like my goal is, I have not ever like run a marathon and ended feeling good. Like I feel like I've hit the wall at 16 because there's always been something like I've been in whatever. Like, so like that's one of my goals. Like I want to get to the start line healthy and I want to feel good at the end. Like I want to feel like I gave it my all, but not like, I could barely make it to the finish line. All right. I am going to pivot to read a review. This was actually a comment on one of my, I do like a weekly review. Olivia, you're doing it now of your training too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like on Instagram? Sorry, I forgot to say on Instagram. So someone said that she, what is her name? I'm sorry, I should have clicked on this. Courtney. Schramm. She said she just started listening to the podcast and she is obsessed. Y'all are such an inspiration for real. Even when you just talk about trash TV or the kids, everything is so relatable. And I genuinely look forward to Wednesdays for a new episode to come out. And also will be patiently awaiting the Mother Runners Retreat announcement because I am all in. I already told my husband to be prepared to watch the kids, which I love so much. That comment, I was like, you made my week. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for listening. Always send us ideas of things you want to talk about, us to talk about. I think so we're planning a Mother Runner retreat in 2026. I think we have the link if you want to weigh in on when and where and stuff. I think it's in our bio on our Miles with Moms podcast Instagram. And then do you guys have a shout out?
It looks so pretty.
We did her. I know we did her for the what is it? The weekly whatever we send out, but I'm just gonna read her again because I don't remember if we did her on the podcast. So this is by Angelica Ramos. Mrs. Ramos runs. 42-year-old Christ follower, wife, married for 10 years, 2 kids. Jaden, boy, is 16 years old. Sophia, 4-year-old girl. Not recommended to wait so long in between. That is a big gap. I don't know if I would restart. I'd be like, we're already out of the hardest part. But healthcare worker, heart transplant coordinator, runner, currently recovering from a foot fracture. Doing strength training and modified exercises. Been through a lot from childhood and postpartum depression. After having my second, it was hard. Found running and I found a new version of myself I never thought existed after losing 55 pounds in the process.
Wow.
I know, it's so crazy. I encourage everyone going through it, even if you don't feel like it. When it's hard, get out the door. Go for a walk. Call that friend. Trust me, they want to hear from you. You also don't need much to start working out. Do it from home. Start small. 15 minutes a day does wonders. Body weight training is great. You will never regret working out, walking, running, or doing a yoga session. Make time for yourself. I love that.
Yeah.
Transplant coordinator too. Could you imagine?
That's wild.
Yeah, the stories she probably has from work is probably crazy.
Oh yeah. I love that. And that's like great advice for those training for a marathon who are, just like, I don't know if I can do this. Call a friend, go out the door. Like,
it's true. It's so true.
Especially like it's the whole too, like just get your shoes on and go out there. I can't tell you like when the alarm goes off and it's dark and you're tired and the weather sucks and you're like, I don't want to be running for 3 hours. Like, just get your shoes on and just go do it. Like, just don't think about it. Just go. Okay. Well, this has been a delight. Thank you guys. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget we have our Patreon Miles with Moms podcast where we have like several secret episodes up there, and we're going to start recording those more probably as after summer. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus for the past couple weeks, and Olivia puts together an awesome newsletter every 2 weeks, so you can sign up for that. And the Patreon link is also on our you can just get everything on our website. So that's Miles with Moms. It's just mileswithmoms.com. Yeah. There's no podcast. Just mileswithmoms.com. You don't even have to type that much. So just head there. You can sign up for everything.
It'll populate at this point.
Yeah. Olivia designed the beautiful website, and it just like all our episodes are up there and everything. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for joining. And we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.